Hello, Philadelphia. We've got to do a little roll call on the day. Is Philly in the house? Is Bucks County in the house? Is Chester County in the house? Is Delco in the house? Is Monco in the house? Greetings, Pennsylvania, and welcome, America, to the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. I am Cherelle Parker, and I have the honor and great privilege of serving as the 100th mayor of the city of Philadelphia. The first woman in Philadelphia's 341-year history. So for me, I need you to know that this is a history-making day here in Philadelphia and in our country because we are on the cusp of electing our Vice President, Kamala Harris, to be the 47th President of the United States of America. I hope you feel it. You feel it. For those of you who know me, you know it is my mantra to always speak truth to power, and I've got to share a history story with you, each and every one of you. And it happened to me in my life when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I was raised by my grandparents. My grandmother was a domestic worker from Manning, South Carolina. My grandfather, a Navy veteran from Accomack County, Virginia. And the two of them were having a disagreement, and the windows were open in our row house. And I remember being 8, 9 years old, going outside to sit on the steps, and I cried, and a neighbor walked by and said, "Cherelle," nosy neighbor, "why are you crying?" And I said, "Mommy and Daddy are upstairs having a disagreement. They're having an argument, and I don't like it." And my grandmother, y'all, she had the windows open, and she was listening. Somebody said, I know what happened. She called me upstairs. She called me into her room. I walked in, and she gave me a tongue lashing like I have never received before. She said to me, "No matter what goes on in this house, you don't ever go outside telling anybody about what goes on in this house." And the story came back to mind when we were on our way to walk here into Temple University, when I heard someone, they were fast and quick to talk about the fact that our Democratic nominee for President of the United States had made her vice presidential pick that we are all super excited about. Let me hear you say Harris-Walz. But they were looking for something, and I knew what they were looking for. On today, Democrats, we must take a page out of my grandmother's book, that domestic worker from South Carolina, and remember that our Democratic nominee has spoken, and that's it, period, end of story. How do you know, Cherelle Parker, that Others will attempt, because of our intense advocacy within our party, they are going to attempt to use divide and conquer to bring us apart so that we can take our eyes off the prize and the only North Star that should be in all of our hearts, minds, and spirits, and that's making sure that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are the next president and vice president of the United States of America. When I tell you that my spirit is full at this moment, it's beaming with pride and dignity and gratitude. Gratitude for our president, Joe Biden, who's dedicated his life 50 plus years. He's made serving our country his mission. Join with me in giving a huge round of applause to President Biden. I want you to know, this is important to me as mayor of Philadelphia. I'm a high school English teacher by profession who just happens to be the mayor. And one of my favorite authors and thought leaders of all time is a gentleman who just would have been celebrating his 100th birthday named James Baldwin. James Baldwin had a quote that he would often state when he was fighting for social and economic justice. He would say, "I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do." Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and America. The promise of this moment and what it means for America couldn't be thicker. You can feel the energy in this room. It is tangible and it is palpable. As Vice President of the United States of America, I had the opportunity to meet Kamala Harris when she had just started out on the trail, and she came to Philadelphia to visit on her first campaign sort of meeting here in Pennsylvania. And when she came to Philadelphia, she had a whole lot of other places that she could have been. But guess where she chose to be? In the neighborhood, with the people, in the backyard, talking to women about the power of unity and addressing issues extremely important to those in our nation. But like James Baldwin, I watch what you do. And I want you to know that as Vice President, she has continued to deliver time and time again for the city of Philadelphia. And I've only been here for 7 months. I just got here. I know my mayors across the nation will appreciate this. I never take a picture with a big check before the little check is in the bank. And in Washington, D.C., they've sent $638 million to Philadelphia for water infrastructure, for mass transit, for environmental remediation. I don't just listen. I also saw our Vice President do something that a whole lot of people had counted out. She and I are Divine Nine Sisters and graduates of historically black colleges and universities. Time and time again, she's made sure that she has delivered. My ask as the mayor of Philadelphia here on today is for you to not let any of the tricksters, because you know Trump the trickster. How many people have seen Trump the trickster? That's right. Don't let Trump the trickster take our eyes off the prize. We have to remember that there is nothing that is more important than electing the Harris-Walz team and sending them where they belong, to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, to the White House. You're in Philly. I don't have to tell you about the power and importance of grit and in hustle. You know, that's what we do. We are a city that is based on the presence of resilience and our strength to overcome obstacles. I want you to know that none of us here today should forget that we are Democrats and that we are for the working class and that we support organized labor. And don't forget this. We know that the middle class built America and organized labor built the middle class. To our vice presidential candidate, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, I am proud, sir, that you are an educator. You know the power of public education has in helping to close the gap between the haves and the have-nots. I want you to know that we paid attention to your work in Minnesota. Free college tuition for low-income students. Free college tuition for low-income students. Free meals for school children. Protections for the LGBT community. Standing up for workers and union members. I want to say this to you. Are you ready, Philly and Pennsylvania, to rumble for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz? When you walk out this door, I want you to put your chucks on and tie them up tight and knock on every door you can to let America know what's at stake. Our citizenship, we must remember, requires that we use the word as both a verb and a noun. And it requires our action. And we have the power in our hands. Let me hear you all say, the power of the people is greater than the people in power. They think they got us. They think they're going to divide and conquer us. They think that we are going to let them throw shade on our Harris and Walz shine. Let me hear you say, don't throw shade on my Harris-Walz shine. Don't throw shade on my Harris-Walz shine. Today, I'm proud to be here with each of you. When we leave out of here, we've got work to do, and we are going to make sure that Kamala Harris is the 47th President of the United States of America. And that Tim Walz is the Vice President of the United States of America. I saw some folks here. I want you all to put your ones in the air for me. Everybody right now. Because this one represents unity. I want you to know that together we are one city. Let me hear you say one city, one region, one state, and one nation united. Let's go and get to work. Thank you all.